Hi everybody, David Merwin here, Pre-Need and Family Outreach Manager for the Archdiocese of San Francisco and our Catholic cemeteries. I'm here today to share with you the answer to August's frequently asked question. And that question is, what else do I need to do other than make pre-planning arrangements at my local cemetery? And that answer to that question is a bevy of things, right? So first and foremost, having a central place of information, of vital statistics that you will need, that your family will need to present to a funeral home in terms of social security number, date of birth, place of birth, parents' names, occupation, veteran status, all of those informational items. Those will all be required by the funeral home to file on the death certificate. And then once the death certificate is filed by the funeral home, the family can then distribute those to any and all financial institutions, banks, stocks and bonds, properties, anything that's going to require a death certificate in order to either transfer or suspend or cancel any type of services such as that. So first and foremost, having a central location of that vital information, whether that be in one of our pre-planning guides or a checklist that you keep, make sure that it's centrally located so the person that's handling your affairs once you've died is going to have access to that. So that would mean your next of kin, whether that's your spouse, a trustee if you have a trust, or even your durable power of attorney that you've assigned to handle your affairs. So that's kind of step one. Step two would be that you can do as much of that information sharing with the funeral home and mortuary while you're still alive. So you can also pre-plan at the funeral home. So that's a very important piece of the pre-planning puzzle. Obviously, cemetery is kind of final destination where your earthly remains will end up, but in order to get you to the cemetery, a funeral home typically needs to be involved. So you can also make pre-arrangements at a funeral home or mortuary simply by making an appointment there, asking to speak to either a pre-need counselor or one of their counselors on staff or a funeral director, and they can help you get set with those arrangements. Now, in all cases, you can verbally and they can record down for you all of your choices, all your decisions, those vital stats that we just talked about. They can help record that and keep some of that for you at the funeral home. However, some funeral homes also will allow you to prepay for certain services, typically through some type of either funeral insurance or funeral trust, but not all funeral homes have that. So it's important to ask your local and chosen funeral home provider what they offer in terms of prepayment. Some may offer all, some may offer some, and some may offer none, but that's all up to the individual funeral home that you are working with. So to just quickly recap all that information we just shared, you'll want to have all your information, your vital information, centrally located. And then you also want to make sure that aside from making arrangements at the cemetery, you also want to make arrangements with the funeral home, right? So you have all the information, death certificates, those need to go to Social Security, banks, financial institutions, stocks and bonds, properties, anything of that nature that's going to require a death certificate. So that's our answer to this month's question. I want to thank you all for watching and joining us today and checking out this month's newsletter. Do not forget that you can submit your questions down below, and we will make sure to feature and answer them in future editions of the newsletter. Again, I'm David Merwine with the Archdiocese of San Francisco. Thank you all and have a blessed day.